Hey indie game fans, 2020 is off to a slow start with a number of early access titles, but some interesting simulation and adventure games, as well as a long-awaited monster taming MMO, but special shoutout goes to the action-adventure RPG Scaleboy, previously announced for 2019, but delayed to 2020, which I have covered before, so wishing the team all the best. Spellsword Cards Dungeon Top is a roguelite deck builder dungeon crawler with an art style that looks to be inspired by Darkest Dungeon. This seems to combine unit placement on the grid with spells and abilities, with an energy system for more powerful cards. Love the art and looks like an interesting mix of genres.
Good evening. I'm Jeremy Nance. That's all come up.
But seriously, yes, you're right. He wants to prove himself with a career record of 12 hours.
In today's day and age, Not For Broadcast is perhaps quite a timely game since this puts you in control of the national nightly news, where you have to choose what to broadcast, choosing the headlines and censoring and bleeping what is offensive or deemed to be offensive by whatever your motivations are.
This is not going to be happy with that. Most people can barely keep up with the man, Jeremy.
With modern politics being how they are, the influence of the media has become front and center, and it's quite scary to see how it works behind the scenes, so should be quite the interesting game. Super Crush KO is a 2D action platformer with an art style reminiscent of Cartoon Network shows, where you have to fight through swarms of deadly robots to save your kidnapped kitten. The action and platforming looks good, with what seems to be a focus on melee combat, but pleasant on the eyes and looks fun.
I came for your salvation. The prophecies were always true. But this time, something's amiss.
The Blind Prophet is a very stylish point-and-click adventure game with visuals that look very much like comics, with a very grim dark atmosphere as you take on a great evil. This has rather mature themes, but being inspired by titles like Blade Runner and Broken Sword, it does look quite promising.
The blackout consumed all lights. The world as we knew it was over. We were all hungry, cold, desperate.
Post-apocalyptic fiction tends to trend in the direction of nuclear war, alien invasion, zombie apocalypse, or natural disasters. But Survive the Blackout is just focused on what is central to modern life in electricity. The power gets shut off globally and you are forced to survive. Decent pixel art with its fair share of difficult decisions, but a very choose-your-own-adventure kind of game, rather than something with a more in-depth combat system.
Just prey on the weak. A part of what made us human died that day, but we survived.
Just a quick note, if you are new here and enjoyed the video so far, be sure to subscribe and check out the Discord channel while you are at it. Here's to more indie gaming coverage, so back to the video. Coffee Talk featured on my list of upcoming pixel art games for 2020 and beyond, and is a narrative simulator whose closest comparison will be Valhalla, but instead of sci-fi and alcohol, this is fantasy and coffee. Get to know your patrons, learn about their lives, make their favorite drinks, and so on. The jazzy soundtrack seems very chill as well, so should be pretty pleasant. Orange Blood is from a Japanese indie developer and is a turn-based RPG set in the 1990s on a fictional man-made island off the coast of Okinawa. Of course, being a fan of pixel art, the visuals did catch my eye with quite the exaggerated colour scheme and variety, but we do have to wait and see on the quality of the localization. A Long Way Down has been a title which I've been looking forward to, so a nice surprise that it is releasing in early access next month. This is a party-based deck-building roguelite, so yet another spin on the formula, and the overworld traversal seems to be a central mechanic as well. The long-awaited puzzle platformer, the Pedestrian, finally makes it to launch, so fingers crossed that it finally gets released. Ever since I first laid eyes on the game, the concept alone was very intriguing, since you play as a stickman-like character, traversing through the various signs in the world. Rearranging the rooms will allow you to solve the puzzles with a very clever idea and neat aesthetics.
Welcome to the world of Temtem, a massively multiplayer creature collecting game filled with friends, foes, and dozens of Temtem to find and tame. Experience the epic story-driven campaign alone or with a friend.
The long-awaited monster taming MMO, Temtem, launches in early access and looks to take on the juggernaut that is Pokemon.
To determine who's the best Temtem tamer in the airborne archipelago. Temtem is a massively multiplayer online experience, so it's important for each player to be able to stand out.
A Pokemon MMO is something which people have been asking for, but Game Freak has not delivered, so perhaps it is time for another team to give it a shot.
You connect with other players. The Airborne Archipelago is a living, breathing world packed with colorful characters, different islands to explore, quests to complete, and of course, Temtem to tame. This world is meant to be explored together with friends, whether you're completing campaign missions against the evil clan Bel Soto in co-op, or battling other players in exciting 2v2 battles.
The Temtems look wonderful and well designed, but the multiplayer focus may be a concern if the player population is not there.
Battles in Temtem are 2v2 to allow for a ton of strategic opportunities. The synergy system allows Temtem to buff each other, or execute combination attacks for maximum damage. Temtem also uses a unique stamina-based battle system that encourages strategic play. Carefully managing your Temtem stamina and knowing when to hold back or go all out is vital to your success. There are dozens of Temtem to tame with different strengths, weaknesses, and unique stats. You can breed Temtem to transfer techniques and traits, creating unique combinations that can't be found in the wild. Temtem that are bred also have a better chance of having higher...
However, I believe this will be pretty popular, so get in on the ground floor in the bottom month, taking the #1 spot.
Temtem is the next evolution of creature collecting games, and the team at CLEMMA is devoted to expanding upon the experience for years to come through major updates, weekly challenges, new Temtem, and new ways to play.